Each county is required by state law to offer early voting from October 29th through November 5th. But for some counties, like here in Clay, election officials have the option to start as soon as October 24th. Senate President Joe Negron released a statement expressing his disappointment following Wednesday's veto, but he said he will continue his commitment to Florida students, colleges, and universities next session. Florida's jobs governor is asking for $85 million in economic incentives to help Enterprise Florida bring more businesses to the state and boost the economy.
Capital Update's Ayanna Young recaps what officials call a smooth elections process.
Teresa, even before Election Day, more than 6 million Floridians voted early by mail or at the polls.
It's the first week of classes for many schools across the state. While students are getting acquainted with their new schedules, school officials are adjusting to new mandates.
Some other safety tips for your vehicle before you hit the roadways are making sure your tires have adequate tire tread and you have a spare tire that's in good condition. Sportsability jumpstarts the first day among the 3-day event. The main focus is learning a few baseball techniques, and so far it's been a hit among participants.
Monday, Escambia and Santa Rosa counties continue clearing the roadways of any debris caused by Nate. Gulf Power restored power to its 38,000 customers who lost it over the weekend.
We had 30, 35-mile-an-hour sustained winds, some gusts up to 50. We probably had about 3 foot of storm surge, maybe 4 foot in some areas. Had some beach erosion that occurred. Minor impacts, to the most part, based upon our damage assessment teams.
Hurricane Nate brought minor flooding to parts of Pensacola, like right here in this townhouse complex. One family who lives here says they're grateful because it could have been worse.
Our garage and our first floor flooded, so we had we think about 7 inches at high tide that flooded. So we'll have, we'll have cleanup and everything on that first level that's wet and needs to be dried out.
As some people began to clean up around their homes, others wasted no time getting back to enjoying Pensacola Beach.
The Gulf and the wind and the waves and the pretty things that you get to see after a storm.
We actually came out here to look for shells, to see if any washed up on the beach.
But lifeguards were patrolling the beach, reminding people about the rough waters.
We haven't had any problems yet. Usually when it gets this big, it's pretty scary looking to everybody and no one really wants to get in. I know the surfers are trying to get out, so hopefully they'll stay safe.
Emergency officials say they were grateful to the governor for requesting a pre-landfall declaration, which the president approved, but thanked Mother Nature that the impacts of Saturday's storm wasn't as great as it could have been. For the Florida Channel, I'm Ayanna Young.
Snow landed in North Florida Wednesday, something that hasn't happened in more than 2 decades. Ice and snow coated homes and cars. In some parts of Leon County, snow totaled up to ½ an inch.
We did officially measure 1/10 of an inch on top of some ice glaze at the Tallahassee airport. That is the first measurable snowfall at the location since December 22nd and 23rd of 1989.
National Weather Service meteorologist Mark Wohl says a combination of cooler temperatures and a low-pressure system created the recipe for snow, sleet, and ice.
This time around, we happen to have some of that cold weather in place when we had a low-pressure system develop and bring precipitation up to our area. So that low is currently deepening off the coast of New England, but it developed off the coast of Florida and was able to push some moisture back into the cold air, and the result was snow and ice.
Weather officials say it's too soon to tell if snow will make its way back to Florida this winter season, but they are advising people to bundle up the next few days as temperatures dip into the 20s.
But the cold isn't going to be getting out of here in any hurry. We've really got a couple of more nights of freezing temperatures with lows getting down into the 20s. It's going to take to about Sunday before we finally see temperatures start to noticeably get milder. By milder, it's still going to be cooler than normal, but into the 50s.
Florida Department of Transportation also made the decision to shut down 3 major highways due to icy roads. Parts of Interstate 10, I-75, and I-95 were all closed at times on Wednesday, prior to crews being able to remove the ice. Extra state troopers were out patrolling the roadways.
We have heavy duty jackets that we can wear. We're out there for public safety, and we're going to be monitoring the roadways to ensure everybody is safe.
The snow didn't just impact the roadways, but school districts in counties like Leon, Hamilton, and Alachua declared a snow day Wednesday. Some were also closed Thursday. Florida A&M, Florida State, and the University of North Florida also shut down for a day. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission staff have been out on boats rescuing sea turtles that can be affected by the cold weather. So far, FWC has rescued more than 200 sea turtles. Manatees can also be affected by cold temperatures. FWC is asking boaters to avoid areas where large numbers of manatees are gathered to remain warm. For Capitol Update, I'm Ayanna Young.
On the second day of the 2017 legislative session, a top priority for Senate President Joe Negron made it to the full Senate. His plan to make higher education more affordable. It's ready now for a final hearing in the Senate. Ayanna Young joins us outside the chamber on the fourth floor with the latest. Ayanna.
The Florida Excellence in Higher Education Act focuses on college students graduating on time without loads of debt. It would also attract high-level faculty to Florida's 12 public universities. Senate Bill 2 would also reinstate 100% tuition under the highest level of the Bright Future Scholarship. Students who earn the merit-based scholarship could also use it during the summer term and get $300 to buy textbooks. The bill also creates the Florida Farm Worker Student Scholarship Program. It will give need-based scholarships to farm workers and their children to earn a college degree or workforce certificate. Some lawmakers question the lack of need-based scholarships in the legislation. The bill's sponsor says more scholarships could land in the budget, but it's a work in progress.
The theme of this session is to be as supportive as we can for the system, but until the GAA is complete, I can't give you a specific number. But if you look at the provisions of this bill, we've already identified with, for example, the first generation college. We've taken the match from 1-to-1 to 2-to-1. We've created the farm worker program, and so these are necessarily going to be part and parcel of the budget going forward.
The bill would also reward universities that graduate students in 4 years instead of the current 6-year graduation rate used in the state's performance funding model. Another portion of the bill requires the universities to adopt a block tuition or flat rate policy for full-time undergraduate students no later than fall 2018. Senator Galvano added an amendment to the bill that would require universities' Board of Trustees to submit a report to the Board of Governors of any financial impact block tuition has by October 2017.
I understand we're focused on the student, but the students have to have instructors. And if there's a financial impact based on the fact that you're getting I wrote down like a buy one, get a little bit free, how do you continue to pay for the professors?
This bill also contains the world-class faculty and research recruitment components. The idea of block tuition has been around for a long time. It's just now becoming a requirement.
After the session, Senate President Joe Negron shared his views on the need for merit and need-based scholarships.
I think we can do both. In terms of the exact amounts, it's something that we'll look at. But I think that when you increase Bright Futures, when you increased first generation, the Farm Worker Scholarship, the Benequisto Scholarship, FSAG, which is the primary way that students from low-income families are able to attend college.
Senate Bill 2 is ready for a full vote in the Senate, which could happen as early as Thursday afternoon. Teresa?
Thanks, Ayanna.
The fire was located in Building E at the Havana Heights Apartments. There were no fatalities, but Red Cross officials say 8 families lost all their belongings and have been temporarily staying at motels. Brittany Hall, a former resident of Building E, says this fire could have been prevented.
If they would listen to us instead of always talking about a work order. And the lady who unit burnt down, I think she previously went to them and told them about her socket caught a fire or something like that previously, and now that happened. But I'm mad. I need somewhere to stay.
We tried speaking with the manager of the apartments, but she declined to comment. Gadsden County Sheriff's Department's Public Information Officer, Ulysses Jenkins, did not want to go on camera, but says the fire was electrical.
As you can see behind me, there is burnt clothing and drywall in front of the E building at the Havana Heights apartment where a fire happened a little over a week ago.
Sharon Tyler, the executive director for the local chapter of the American Red Cross, says there were over 40 people involved in the fire, and the majority of them are children. Now it's about moving forward.
Our client caseworkers work individually with each family to make sure that they've got a recovery plan, and then we work with them on their plans to help them get placed.
I'm Ayanna Young for News 20 at 5.